Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Human Empowerment Experience here with, and this is kettlebell training, by the way, with a little bit of inspiration mixed in. Let me just.
Well, today's not kettlebell training.
Yeah.
All right. Never mind. Today's kettlebell training.
Happy Monday. It is Monday. It's the start of a new week. It is September 21st already.
Lord. That's the equinox.
Boy.
Not the equinox. The equinox.
Oh, okay. Well, time goes by quickly. This morning, I am talking about, I don't know if you saw my post this morning. I do a post every morning at 10 minutes of 5 or some ridiculous time like that.
30.
And today's post was about fear. And the quote that I found, I usually post a quote and then say a few words after, that's something that resonates with me as I'm waking up and whatever downloads to my thoughts first thing in the morning at 4:30. But anyway, what was cool about this post was that it was fear, and a good way to conquer fear or to get over your fear when you're facing something big or something scary is to look at it in a curious way. So here's, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, like when you were a kid and you were with your buddies and you're out, I don't know, on an adventure and you see something down over a cliff or something of that sort that looks really cool, and you guys want to go down gals want to go down and investigate, and you're curious, and you've got that curious, adventurous mind, and all of the fear of climbing down in there or whatever you're doing goes away because you have your mind set on being curious and finding out what's next and what you're going to uncover and what you're going to experience, and it's exciting. Well, that's the way that your mindset should be, or the way that you can make your mindset go when you're experiencing something fearful in everyday life. So if you have a big goal and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Turn that around and look at it in a curious way. Like, be an adventurer, be an investigator. And when you're curious, it literally, the fear just goes along, it's beside you, but you're able to move forward because you've got that curious mind and you're uncovering something new and something interesting. So it's a good way to look at fear. If you're waking up with a little anxiety, turn it around and be an investigator, be an adventurer, be a reporter, be whatever it is that makes your mind curious about what's going to happen next. What is the next step that you're going to take, and all of the adventures that come along with that. So I hope that is helpful for you this morning. I know a lot of people are choosing to live in fear currently with all the things that are going on. It is a choice. You don't have to live in fear, even though there's a lot of things going on around you. You can choose to have the mindset of being an adventurer or being a curious mind. Having said that, we'll get on to our workout. And this morning we are doing something different. And the reason we're doing something different is we are heading to California today to go visit my daughter. And so we're not going to have our kettlebells with us. So we're doing a series this week on
getting up and down off the ground.
And why is this so important?
Well, this is huge. This is actually one of the most important things in fitness. Why do we do it? We do it for survival reasons. We do it for longevity reasons. And this becomes crucial when we start to age, right? Actually, it's crucial, period. But it's particularly, this is where we see it the most. People who fall or are at risk of falling, or people who get thrown down or are at risk of being thrown down. So this series is applicable to elderly people, MMA fighters, and anybody who gets up and down off the ground for any reason. So really all of us. And it's incredibly, this piece that we're going to go over today is fundamental to the development of the human body from birth to death. you're going to learn how to fall, which is the exact how to fall and not get hurt, which is the exact opposite of how to get back up off the ground, because it's the same process, just done in reverse. The musculature of the body and the anatomy of the body is all the same for all of us, and we all have the same moving parts, and as long as they're all functioning properly, this works. And this process that we're going to go through today points out to you which pieces of the chain are not working for you. What are the weakest links of the chain, and that's what we work on.
Can you talk a little bit about the couple of clients that you've worked with that came into your
absolutely.
your dojo, and that you helped with this type of process?
Yeah, absolutely. There, people that have had hip replacements, and it affects their ability to walk, drive,
you had a
get up and down.
70-something-year-old woman that you worked with.
You're talking Margaret Hellman. Yeah, Margaret, she was amazing. And what was interesting about Margaret is that she was, I believe, in her mid-70s, maybe early 70s, when I trained with her, or when I trained her. And she went and had a bone scan done. Doctor said that she was dealing with osteoporosis, issues of osteoporosis. She was losing a lot of bone density. She started doing kettlebell. Over the ensuing 2 years, she had 2 improved test results from bone scans. Her bone density was increasing. That's because what increases bone density is putting your bones under load. You must do a load-bearing exercise to affect this. The problem is that a lot of load-bearing exercises are very high impact. Kettlebell is not. Kettlebell is 0 impact, very load-bearing, which means it's a safe, effective way to increase bone density.
Didn't you work with her on the getting up off the floor thing, though?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But that's
what we're working on today.
Yep.
And also the gentleman that you...
Yeah, Ernie was the same way. Actually, Ernie had a hip replacement. He was retiring, and he was at wit's end because nothing he was doing was helping. So finally, he found me, and we started doing this program we're going to be doing today in preparation for him to swing kettlebell. And he went back to work and continued to work for another few years, and did very, very well with this. And so that's what we're going to work on.
Now, when you see what we're working on, this is going to be a week-long progress. It's going to look very basic, and you're going to be like, okay, what does this have to do with anything that I'm doing? It seems so simple, but bear with us. If you have friends or family members, maybe someone that's older that you're afraid is going to fall, like a hip, or maybe you want to take part in this, or maybe you haven't worked out in a while and you want to start right at the very beginning of the fundamentals of the human body, then this is for you this week. But it's particularly great for people that are older, so that if they fall, they can get up off the floor themselves, or if they trip, they're able to catch themselves in a better way. So let me check and see who we have on board with us before we get started.
Let's take a look. I see Alberto, Ray, Dana Wardlaw, and Dana Cromwell. A couple of Danas over here.
We're both talking at the same time. All right, guys. So we're going to get ready to. David's going to show you the first steps today. Again, you'll notice that very basic. Bear with us. It's really important information for everybody.
Okay. The first thing we're going to work on is our core. We work on it with everything, but to work on it without a kettlebell, and to work on it in a way that's going to be safe for anybody to do, no matter what age you are, it looks like this. The first thing you have to do is you have to get down on the ground. Now, this is a good time to look at and think about, how are you getting down onto the ground now? Because we're going to completely change all that. So the first step that we're going to do, it looks like this. You're going to lie on your back, like so. There are 2 pieces that you have to do, 2 exercises that you have to start with. You're going to start by bringing our knees up like this. You're going to hold our hands up like this. And we're going to bring our chin towards our chest and our fingers to the top of our knees and come back. All we're doing here is our low back and mid back stays on the ground. We're simply activating the top part of our spine. So your first exercise is right here, touching your knees. 1, 2. You're going to do a set of 10 of those. And then on the 10th one, you're going to go up and you're going to hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And this is good for anybody. So even if you're in your 70s, 80s, this is something that this is how you're going to start.
Now, the next thing, once you've activated the upper part of your core, now we need to activate the lower part. And it's going to look like this. I'm going to put my hands on the floor, and I'm going to bring my knees towards my forehead. Try and pick my hips up off the ground. Don't just pick your feet up. Pick your butt up off the ground and back down. It's not easy to do. You may not be able to do it right away, but you're going to work on it. Here we go. Bring the knees in. 1. I'm pushing into the ground with my hands, lifting my butt up off the ground.
We see you walking past the camera. This is the 10 cameras that we have on here.
Now, after you've done a set of 10 of those, you're going to bring your knees up and you're going to hold them and you're going to try and count to 30. Here we go. Release. Start with 10, work your way up to 30. It's not an easy one. Now, once you've achieved those 2 exercises and you've completed them, you're going to combine them together. So I'm going to put my hands up here. I'm going to bring my feet up off the ground, and I'm going to round my whole back. So my butt's up off the ground and my shoulders are up off the ground. You can grab behind your knees and really round up. Hold. Release. Again, pick your feet up. Hands up, round your body. Try and come all the way up. And release. Now, very nice. The next thing we're going to do is this. We're going to put our feet up. We're going to pick up our hips. We're going to pick up our head. We're going to hold our hands up in the air. And we're going to open one hand and foot until we roll to the side. Now we're going to open the other hand and foot. Once it gets to a certain point, all of a sudden, my balance shifts and I roll to the other side. So this should not be a muscular effort to do this roll. You should just simply think about picking up this hand and foot, opening as wide as you can, and rolling to the other side. Just like that. Now, once we understand this process, you're going to pick up your butt, pick up your shoulders so you're round, and now do it. Now this will happen a lot easier if you're rounded. Just a little bit makes it happen.
Now, with any of these steps, if you're just starting out and you're in your, like my mom is in her 70s, you're going to want to stay on the very first thing he showed you for a while, like maybe a week or maybe a few days. And then you go to the next one for a week or a few days and you put the 2 together.
The good news is that this is recorded, so you can always go back and watch the replay of these. We're going to continue on because there are many steps to this process. But Coach Kendra is right. Only bite off what you can chew today. Don't try and do a whole bunch of exercises. If you do 10 raising your upper spine, 10 raising your lower spine, 10 doing them together, and then roll back and forth with this and understand it, that may be absolutely all you need for today. Or for the first couple of days.
Some people are just,
that's fine.
Are just literally starting out. And that's the cool thing, that you don't have to do this whole series like he just showed you. Yeah, obviously there are a lot of us who can do that, but we're talking to the people that actually have a hard time getting up off the ground. This is how you develop your body to be able to do so.
Absolutely. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to start working on getting up a little bit higher. And that looks like this. I'm going to bring my knees up, like so. I'm going to push into one foot so that it rolls me to the side. And I'm going to put this elbow in the ground so it rolls me up to this elbow. And then I'm going to roll back onto my back, push into the other foot, let this one drop, come up onto the other elbow. So it looks like this. Now I have to keep my upper back curled. My lower back stays on the ground for this one. But what I really want you to work on is staying relaxed and using a little bit of momentum. So right now, I've got my upper body picked up. I'm holding myself up in the sky. When I drop down, I'm automatically going to go to the other side. Keep that motion. Keep that motion. Push into that foot and roll up onto the elbow. So it looks like this. I can push into this foot to come up, or I can just pick my lower body up and roll, just like that. So to start with, push into the foot and roll up, go back down, switch feet, push into the other foot and roll up. Once you have some success with that, then you want to do it with momentum. So this is the process with all of these techniques. One, the first way we learn it is how to do it without momentum. Then we learn how to add momentum to it. So again, the first piece, push into that foot, roll up to the opposite elbow until both hands touch the ground. Then I'm going to go back onto my back, switch the foot, switch the elbow, push, and roll up. Once you can do that, it looks like this. I go over and up, over and up, just like that. Nice and smooth. If you feel it going thump, 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 right? If you hear that, then you're not doing it right yet. Once you can do it silently, hear the thump? Once you can do it silently, now you can do the next piece, which is to come up onto your hand. So I've straightened this arm, right? To go back down, elbow, and up. So what I tell people is that you essentially want to imagine that you're inside of a bubble. Imagine I'm sitting inside of a giant ball, like a big fit ball. If I'm round, right, if I have a round surface to roll on, then I am going to be able to roll. If you make it into like a triangle or a square, rectangle, things don't roll on rectangles very well. Make yourself into a ball. Round your back, round your shoulders, tuck your chin, and you'll be able to roll. So one fun way to do this is to go right into a circle. So it looks like this. I roll to one side. Oh, yeah, I see it. All the way around in a circle. It looks like this. And then you can go in the other direction. I highly recommend being on a carpet or a mat, because this is going to bang up your elbows and your shoulders and your wrists if you don't in the beginning. It takes a little bit of practice. Okay, so let's see. Plenty of time. Let's go to the next piece. So the next piece that we're going to do is this. Let me see, what's the best way to do this? So we ultimately want to end up on our hands and knees, right? Which is, so we've gotten to here, we've straightened our arms, but our hips are still on the ground. We want to get our hips up in the air. So here's what I want you to do. Let's start from here. Let's start from a hands and knees position, right? And here's what we're going to do. Here's the exercise. I'm going to take one knee, I'm going to slide it across. I'm going to set my hip down. And now look where I am. I'm in that same position that we just came to, arms straight. I'm going to put my hand down. I'm going to lift myself up, bring that knee through. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bring it across, set my butt down. Go back. Send it across, set the butt down. Now the other side. Send it across, set your hip down. So you go back and forth. 1, 2. Now, watch this. I'm going to set my hip across, set my knee across. Then I'm going to set my elbow down. I'm going to roll onto my back. I'm going to come back up the same way. Watch this, right? Curl up, bring it across, come up. My knee back. Set my knee across, set my elbow down, ease myself down, rolling onto my back. Coming back up, same way. I can use this foot. Now, did you see what I just did there? Sometimes when you're here, you can't quite get that knee across. Try it like this. Bring your elbow down first. See, the higher I get, the more unstable I am. Here, I have a pretty hard time falling from here. I'm already down. But as soon as I come up a bit, I could fall. So the higher you get, this is just on my arms. Once I get up onto my knees, now my body is this high off the ground. If I want to get down on the ground without hurting myself, I'm going to put the hip down, the elbow down, lower myself all the way. Coming back up, same way. Here. Other side, same thing. Hip goes across, arm goes across, roll onto your back. Rolling back, same way. Nice. Now, here's the real exercise that I want you to do. It looks like this. Here's the advanced. This is the advanced class now. It looks like this. Hip, arm, go across. Now really fast. Back up. Using momentum all the way up. Excellent.
Now, what's cool about all of this, when you train your mind to do this, I'll give you a real life example. Because I've worked with David a little bit about, we did the Turkish Get Up, which is about the same thing. When I injured my shoulder this week, I found myself in my tub taking a bath, but I couldn't get out of the tub like I normally do. What happened was then is that I automatically used what he's teaching you today to be able to get up and out of the tub with just this shoulder was in a lot of pain, so I couldn't even use this shoulder at all or move this side of my body. And the reason that I could do that is because I had already trained my mind and trained my brain to get up the way David is showing you. So it was super helpful for me. I would have been stuck in the tub. I had no way of getting out. I was in so much pain that I could not stand up like I normally do. I had to roll over in the tub and actually get up. And I didn't have to really think about it because I had trained my mind to already do that. So this is what's cool about even doing this. And even if you're doing it and you're thinking, wow, this is really just baby stuff. Well, it actually is baby stuff because this is the stuff that you learn when you're a baby, when you're developing your body and you're learning how to walk, and it trains your brain so that when you need it, you're going to automatically be able to go to your mind and your body's going to follow and do it like that. It's really, really interesting stuff.
It's true. And to be honest with you, where this curriculum comes from was a very advanced judo player, a guy named Kenny Duran. When I knew him many years ago, he was fifth dan judo. He's an international judo judge and Olympic judo trainer. And I used to encounter him at martial arts camps. And what was happening was that there were a lot of judo and jiu-jitsu players at the camp, but there's also a lot of karate people. And karate people do not throw each other, and therefore they don't know how to safely fall. So what would happen is karate people would go to the judo and jiu-jitsu classes, and they'd be all excited, but they'd get hurt because they didn't know what they were doing when it came to falling. This is crucial. If somebody's gonna pick you up over their head and slam you on the ground, you have to understand the mechanics of how to do this in a way that's not gonna kill you. And so he taught me. He would teach a class called "Falling for Idiots," and any karate people that wanted to take judo and jiu-jitsu classes had to do "Falling for Idiots" first. So, hey, Mary Maverick. So what we did was he taught me the curriculum of Falling for Idiots, and I brought it back and applied it to my kids' classes, and it worked out perfectly. When I started doing kettlebell, I realized that the Turkish Get Up was exactly the opposite of falling, but putting it under load. So it's a fabulous pairing. They mesh together. When I started studying jiu-jitsu, I realized that the snakies, if you're familiar with jiu-jitsu, you understand the snakies. They are snaky number 5, snaky number 6, even 1 and 2. They incorporate all of these techniques for the very same reason, because you're on your back, somebody is on top of you, putting you under load, holding you down. How do you get up from there? Well, there's a process. It's a simple process that all our bodies are built the same. You get on your side, you prop yourself up, you pull your hips through, and you stand. And we're going to go over all of those things in the week that follows here to put these pieces together. So tomorrow we're going to go a little higher. Tomorrow we're going to go a little bit more advanced, but this is what it's about.
So join us tomorrow morning. The time will be a little bit different because we will be in California. We will be at the First Rain Farm, my daughter's and her husband's organic farm. It's a goat farm, and they grow organic food, and they actually grow organic seeds for seeds companies too. They are a no-till farming operation. It's called First Rain Farm, and we will be on location the rest of the week at First Rain Farm, and also whatever other adventures that we do. We might be camping out somewhere else, so we'll
keep you posted.
We'll tune in live every morning to let you know what we're doing and give you some instruction on the getting up off the floor.
Yeah, and I looked up the meaning of the word California yesterday. Apparently, it means hot furnace. Cali, hot.
It's going to be
California.
Actually, I'm looking forward to it
furnace.
because
Very
we're in the upper northeast of the country in the state of Maine. It's already starting to get cool and cold. I had to wear a jacket yesterday. It's beautiful, beautiful weather. It's fall weather, but I'm not ready for winter. So we're heading over to the west where it's in the 80s still, and looking forward to a great week. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining us today. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
I think Maine might be like giant walking.
Yeah, I think so too. Freezer. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sending you all love, peace, joy, and happiness, and lots of abundance. Sending those love and healing energies to those in the world who are suffering today in the hopes that they will find peace in their lives. We appreciate you joining us, and I hope you have gotten some great Rajesh. I hope you have gotten some great information from our training today, and we will see you on location in California tomorrow. Setting our intentions for a beautiful day today and good traveling for David and I, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Love you guys.
Bring your body.
Bring your body.